Og den er på engelsk.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'll try to select the company here. Calling. I think it's UK. Is that the U which is not working?
No, I've set it up for UK.
Yeah, but this you're missing, is that
Yeah, it works.
Okay. UK demo. Yes. Good. Can everyone see the screen now? Hopefully you can.
Yeah.
Even though you don't answer, but so let's see. Good. Yes, I'll try to go through the setup of the general ledger. I think that is what was on the agenda for the first. Is that correct? Yeah, but that's a part of this. Good. If we go down here, we have something about the voucher number series, which I saw on the agenda was something you wanted to know something about. And there's been some changes in the last version, so I think we will look a little bit into it here. This is in Danish. I'm sorry. This is actually, let's see if we can change something here. The name of it here is purchase. Good. And up here we have the sales. Vouchers in finance. Good. And what you do down here is actually that you set up how you want the number series to work in Unicontact. And there's something here which I think you should take into consideration every time you start up a new company or a new customer. If we look here, we have some opportunities on the setup. If we could take here, if this is set up the uses as a voucher number, then it will automatically begin to add values, one for each line. For example, when you do an invoice or when you do a posting in the journal. So you set this up here. Down here you have something called prefix, which will then be set in front of the number up here. And here you can set up the length. The length here is actually the length of the prefix. The number up here. So if I wanted to have this to be always, so you have the same length, I would say that this should be 6 characters here. Then I will always have the same length. I have the FB and then it will say 00001, and then you have the length for everyone. When there's another way also you can use these sequence numbers for, you can use them up here if you set them as generate key, then you can actually use them to automatically do a number series, which, for example, every time you do a new customer or a creditor, then you can say that I want to add one compared to the last one you actually did. So this could also be used for automatic numbering of projects, customers, vendors, and everything. I'll try to set it up so we can see what it's actually doing. So we could try to do a new one here. I save this. And then, for example, you see down here on the project number, I go in and say that this is generating a key, and the first number was 1000, and the last number was 888, and we are next in line is 5000. Then, for example, say that we have this project number here, and the length is 4. Then we say save, and then we go down into project, for example, and say we want to add a project. Then we just say add here. And when I then save, you should not then type anything in project number now. Let's see how many things we actually need here. Let's say save. Account cannot be blind. Yes, here. Take one company here and say save. Then you now can see that it has automatically gotten this number, which was PRO 5002. So you see you can use it for automatic numbering. So this is one way of using the number series here. You see we have now been in 5002 and the prefix was Pro. Could of course have added this one and then it would have been this in front. The other way was what we saw up here. Let's say this is for, I'll say edit here, and this is actually journal postings. Like this, and I say save. If I then go up to general ledger and go into posting and go into a journal, using this sequence number should automatically add. If I go in here, I say I want to use account number, bank, Scotland. Yeah, I'll take that one. No, I didn't. Bank. And we say that we have 10,000 and we have the offset account here and say that this is sale. Doesn't matter. It's just, what am I? Like this. And when you go to the next line, it automatically takes number 2. So this is the 2 ways of setting up voucher series. One thing you should really think about using Uniconta is that if you use a lot of journals and you let a lot of people do the handling of the posting, then I recommend that you do a setup of voucher numbers, now voucher number series for each journal, or else you could have that one journal has 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you go out for a break, and then another one takes number 5, 6, 7, 8. So you see, this is not good. So make a down here, make a voucher number series for each journal you actually want to use. Does this make any sense? Yeah. I think we should have some, so I can see that you are nudging everyone. Good. So this is a number series. Do you have any questions about that?
So because we're running just on one laptop, we actually can't see the chat right now because that will block the screen. So if you have any questions, just shout.
Hvorfor lukker du det? Jamen, det var sgu da bare sådan til min skærm ud. Just a second, we'll just put on so Claus can see anything here. So Good. Okay, then we go up to take the chart of account, see what is actually in here. And here are something which is, what should I say, quite important also. Oh, sorry. How much have you actually used Uniconta? Has everyone tried to set up a chart of account?
Yes.
Yes, we have set up a chart of account.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you use this one actually, or did you use a stand? Did you use your own, or what?
Yeah, we used our own.
Great. Here you can see one thing in Uniconta which you should take a little care of, because you see Claus has saved a layout actually with the Danish labels. So for you to be able to read it, I should now delete the layout, or else you will not be able to see the standard with the English titles. So again, here I can recommend that if you have set up something you want to change the language, for you, just do another user actually. Create another user instead of try to do a setup on the same user for all languages. It changes, it saves actually when you save a layout, it also changes or saves the setup for everything on the screen. So don't use the same user if you change the layout. Good.
Is it possible to change that? Because you just want to save the layout, not the labels.
No, it's not. This is the way it's done. Actually, we save everything. We also save the if you have a filter. So you should take care when you save a layout, because you save it as it looks on the screen. So this means that when you have the setup, if you say here save layout and you say yes, then take care, because this will be your standard, and this would be saved then with filters and everything. So I would recommend that you save your own layouts with a new name. But again, if you change users, you cannot, or if you change language, the one you have saved will still be saved with the labels on the language you saved them with. And that's just the way it is. You cannot do anything about it.
Not in the future, because I know it is how it is now, but at the end you're just saving labels. So
I don't know.
I will send a future request for it.
Yeah.
No problem.
You can always do that. As you know, Eric, he sometimes just then sits down and thinks, and then he creates it. But this is the way it is now. Good.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
Yeah. I will then take some of the important things up here onto this chart of account here. One of the things which is really important is the system account, because this is actually the accounts which shows what you can actually do. And now I just ruined Klaus's setup because I save it in English now on his computer. If you look here, you will see that we have some accounts here which is set up, and I can already now say that we don't have enough actually of systems accounts. We are simply missing something to be able to be sure that Uniconta is actually working correct every time. I think this chart of account is opposite direction of a Danish one. Normally we have the balance in the bottom. Let's see. Yeah, this is different. Good. We go in here and you can then edit these accounts. And this is, in here you have all the fields you can change. And there are some which is more important than others. Of course, you have the account number. You can always change the account number just by typing another number. Because again, as you know, the account number is just a name actually, for it's not the reference. The reference is an ID which is hidden for everyone. Then you have the name. You can always change the name, no problem. Then you have all these account types. And some of them we use for specify things, and we test for something. If, for example, we say that we have a revenue, then if I translate correctly into Danish, you cannot use a VAT, which is for expense. So Uniconta will be able to test if you use different kinds of account types. Then some test has been set up. We have here the revenue, then you will not be able to do VAT on an expense, which is incoming, outgoing VAT. The same with cost. You cannot do sales VAT on a cost account and so on. We also have the one down here which is bank. The only thing where you can do bank reconciliation on is actually on accounts which is set as bank accounts. And it's not fully documented actually what Eric has built in here. So even sometimes I get a little surprised when it tests for something. So I'm not able to see if there's anything which is connected to other. But Eric will use them, and sometimes we do a new feature, and then we will use these. For example, when we come with the fixed asset module, it will be so you should use fixed assets on the account type. Good. And then
Jørn,
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
Will there be one day a documentation about all the options?
I hope. It's a little difficult sometimes to get out of Eric.
Okay.
So, yeah. So most of them is documented, but not all of them. And so I sit down sometimes with Eric, and then I get them, and then we put them into Unipedia, which you then can read in Danish right now.
Super. Thank you.
Jørn?
I had a question around if you could lock changes. Is that correct?
Yes and no. If you go down for locking changes in Uniconta, it's not a feature which is as what you say. It's not a huge feature. It's only a small feature we have. Meaning that if you down here set lock table changes, you cannot see it in Uniconta, but in the database we will save who has made the last change on setup tables, meaning something like chart of account, meaning customers, but never on postings. We don't do any logging on postings. And that's because if you look at who has done the postings, then everything will be shown here in posted journals. You can see here, I have done this posting. So this will be saved here. It's not saved on every record. It's only saved here on posted journals. So you will always be able to see who has done this invoice, who has done this project posting. Everything is here. So these are the two things we are locking. If you want to see changes in the log down here on the company, you have to create your own report. Then you can do it. We have not created a report showing this, but you can do it. You can take them out using the API. I'm not sure if you can get them into the report generator, but using the API, you can always get these changes out. But it's only the last one who has changed. So if one of you changed in the before noon and one afternoon, then yeah, we only have the last one. Yeah, but why can't you?
So I'll just check the chat just a second, guys. I'll just check the chat because we only have one of the PCs working here. Okay, so if we sort of let's just do some answers to the chat questions. We'll take them one at a time. So the first one there is from Thomas. I guess you can all see it on the screen. I'll read it out. How to post purchase invoices using finance accounts. It looks like only items can be used.
How to post purchase invoices using finance accounts.
This is Thomas.
Yeah.
What I'm asking for, I receive an invoice from an advisor. One day, 1,000 euro. I want to post this purchase invoice, and I tried to post it because we already created Uniconta Germany company, and I could only find to post that information on an item.
On an item, meaning from the inventory.
Yes. Yeah. And I would like to use the cost account.
You don't have to use an item. You can just fill in text.
No, normally, when you have a purchase invoice, you can put them directly into your vendors, either on a finance account or you put them directly into the vendors itself. So you have a vendor for each purchase invoice you actually get. And you don't need to do anything with items actually.
Yeah, but when I go to vendor and I use purchase invoices, I don't know how to do it. Can you show me?
Okay, now I think I know what you. Okay, I want to do a purchase order here. I'll just
purchase invoice.
Yeah, purchase invoice. Yeah, and I take it from the order and then I just go all the way here. Let's see. I'll do. Let's see if I have a vendor here at all. Yeah, I have a lot, so that's good. Wow, I have a lot of set up here. And then we can add one here. And if you can just then use an account here, like this. And I think we should have a group here. I just try to say save and go to line, see what's missing. Nothing is missing. Then I can actually just here say, I want to buy. Quantity 3 and the price is 1,200. Then you don't use any item number, anything. So you don't need to use item. So now I can actually just go up here and say I want to create an invoice. This is actually the purchase order. So if I go up here, say I want to do this, and it shouldn't be. This is actually when I receive it. This is a wrong label. It should say receiving invoice. But I say save here. Then I go out into here, and then you can go up and say, I want to create this. So I go in and say, I want to now do a purchase order here on this account. And oh, this is not that. This is a copy. Where do I have it here in physical vouchers, purchase lines, requisition. Sorry, I should just read what's on the. Then I do the requisition, or I can do the purchase order here on this one I'm at right now. And then I can also say I want to update the stock status, but you don't have stock here. Then I can send it as an email, or I can just print it. I say generate. And hopefully I get it here on the screen. So now you can see I've done this. And when you then receive it, you can go in here on this line and say now that I have now received the invoice. And this is done here. And the invoice number from your vendor is 1234. And then you could also, if you do the have a item number, you could say how many you have actually received. So now I've got this and I put into the system. So now I have purchased something, and I have not used anything about inventory.
Yeah, but which account is not used? I have to post it on a purchase account or a cost account.
You can do this up here. When, let's say I have this, then you have this cost account here. You can put it directly into. When you're not using any items, you should use that, or else it would go on the error account.
Okay, so if I, for example, I go fueling every week, the same gas station, I can create that gas station as a vendor, and I use the cost account for fueling expenses.
Yes.
And I put it here.
Yeah, you can do that.
I cannot create a purchase invoice and enter the cost account in the purchase invoice line.
Yeah, but
Yes, you can.
yeah, you can always do that also.
Jørn, can you go back?
I didn't find it.
Can you go to the purchase invoice?
Yeah, just a second. Let's see, we do up here, purchase invoice like this.
Yep.
Yeah, and up here you can do it directly, also put the cost account on.
Okay.
And the same you can do if you do the purchase orders, which is the same as the sales order. So, and on the purchase order, you also have, if I said add here, I think over here you also have the cost account and everything. Let's see, normally they should be down here, or orders we have. Yeah, you have them here.
Can you go back to the purchase invoice?
Yes.
And if you change the layout, I think you can add the cost account as well.
But you have the cost account here. But you want to have it on the line. No, on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have this, and then you say edit here, and then you could go down here and say you have the one to have the cost account directly here.
So if you only have cost, then you can separate them here on the line.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So if I have one invoice, different cost accounts, I can use this. Okay. Yes. So the quantity doesn't matter. It must the quantity be at least one? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should always have at least one.
Okay.
Or else you cannot do the calculation here on the total price.
Mm-hmm.
Can it be defaulted to one? Because we always have to change it. But
yeah, of course. But again, you have to do in and send a wish actually for what you want to change. So that's the way we're doing it. And then it goes down into the development, and sometimes Eric is a little bored and he then changes 20 things. So this is the way it's done. And then we have the Danish department, which do long time development on projects. Good. Yeah, let's see if.
Okay, we'll just take some more questions. And Thomas, it'll probably be yours because I saw that you were the most brave. Let me see the next one. Yeah.
Thank you.
The next one we answered. So that was the how to post payments on purchase invoices. So I mean, well, actually posting payments. Yeah. So that's good. We covered that.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I have a question.
yes, go ahead, Matthias.
Can we add the dimension to the line on the purchase invoice?
Yeah, you can do that. If everywhere in the system you can actually, or where it is, let's see how many dimensions we actually have on this. I'm not sure. We have 3, so it should be possible to see here. So if we go in again to the purchase invoice, I think that if we go up here on it should be on this line actually, and then go into layout, edit, and then I think that we have here the department, which is one dimension, and the
okay.
other. So purpose, you have this down here, so you have them all.
Okay.
I think there was something else here. Yeah, attach physical vouchers to posted entries. That's always possible. If you go into the postings, let's say, for example, here you have all the transactions. And if you go into, you can see there's no one on this one. Then you can go into the, I think that's this bottom, you have this. And up here, now you have physical vouchers. You can attach one. If you press that, you will attach one which is in this, comes from up here. Physical vouchers, you will be able to take it from here. So if, for example, I go in here and say attach, it will show everything, or it should do as I have in the, why don't it show anything? Maybe that's because they are already attached to something, but then you should actually be able to do it here, collect them. I'm not quite sure why I can't see anything. Or you could import them by going up here and say import file, and then you can browse for it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Thank you.
then you can just attach it and you will be able to see it here for everyone. So you can always attach to existing postings. I don't know if you know all the other things you can actually do to these postings. If, for example, here you can go in and say, I want to edit the text. So if I want to have another text, I can just do it. And then I can say if it's all lines, only one line. I have only this, and then you can see this has been changed. You can also, and this is really important actually up here. Now I can just try to ask you one question. If you should, in a normal system, change, you have made a registration which is on the wrong dimension, how many postings should you actually use to get it out from one dimension into another? There are 2 answers, so I can just say 2, 4, 6, or 8, and 2 of these are correct.
How many dimensions?
Yeah, how many postings should you actually do on a, not on in Uniconta, but for example on NAV, to change from one dimension to another? How many postings should you actually do? If you have put them into the wrong dimension. 2, 4, 6.
That's only 1 posting.
1? No, you actually
4.
4 or 6.
1 journal. Yeah, okay. It's 1 journal with 4 lines.
4 or 6 lines. Why can it be 6 lines?
If you want to
VAT.
change the VAT.
Yeah, VAT. That's correct, Andy.
VAT. Yeah.
So, and you in Uniconte you can just do like this. You just change. Say you want to have this, and then you do this like all lines. Then you have changed. So instead of doing 6 postings or 4 postings, you can just do like this. The other thing you can do, which also is quite important, is here that if you, for example, you have this is actually to keep the audit trail. This is the only way you can do this, and you cannot normally not do it in any systems. But if you go up here and say that, for example, that this should not have been on installation, but on another account, but only this, then you can go up here and then you can actually change one side actually, meaning that you will still, if for example it should be here, then you can just press this button and now you see this has changed. And the best thing is actually that you now have the vouchers, the transaction, everything, so you have the audit trail intact doing like this. So this is some of the things you can do here. You can edit the text, you can change it, you can invert, so you could change debit to credit and the other way around. You can delete one and you can cancel a voucher. Do you know what the difference is between delete and cancel?
No.
The cancel voucher actually do the posting forward, back and forward, so you will see the change in Uniconte. So if I do the cancel, it will take this 845, 804, and then do 2 additional line. If I did with minus the other way around, if I do like delete, it's gone.
Okay.
So this is 2 ways of doing the same thing, but the one you just delete the lines, and the other one you have the old-fashioned way of changing with the back and forwards. Good.
One question.
Yeah.
Thomas, what do you think about delete in Germany?
I think that we are actually putting in a feature now saying that this could only be done by someone who is allowed to do it.
Now it should also have to be checked if a month closing was already there, or if data is already exported to the advisor. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you should not make, if you use voucher numbers, consecutive voucher numbers. For example, we post a sales invoice.
Yeah.
It's not allowed to delete that posting and have a lag in the consecution.
No, but that's also why you in Germany will shut this off when we come with a new version. Then you can do it. Because this is actually something you should look into, because we also have this called posted journals. And you should always think that Uniconte is actually built so you can change anything until you have down here on accounting year, you have closed it. So you should go down here and then you should, when you're finished, close it. Then you will not be able to open it again. And you cannot do any changes, no matter how you try. So this is the way you close for
of the year, not on the month or?
You can also do it on the month.
Okay.
So you go in here and now you do the blocking stages here, and now you see now you can do it per month.
Okay.
And the big difference, what is the big difference between those two? Anyone know that?
Block you can still open, close you cannot open anymore.
Yeah, that's right. So this is important. That's a way Uniconte actually closes things. So you cannot do anything back in time. So good. Let's see, I think we have some additional here. Let's see, we have this. Okay, that's okay, Stefan. I don't know if you have left. I think you have. Sigurd. Good, let's see here. No, yeah, now he is. Oh, that's a lot down here. Can you log changings? Yes. If a period closed, can the administrator still make change additional? This is the way we showed here, but you open for the period, yeah, for end year's activities. So I think that was what we have right now. Good. So this was a little bit about the transactions. But we came from the chart of account actually. I just close all this and then I go up to chart of account again. Good. Yes. Let's go down here. We go down into some of the profit account here, profit and loss. Let's see. We have some, again, I have all these systems accounts here, and some of these, or everyone should actually be filled out with the real account. If we go in here, you can see that was where we actually stopped before. We have this none or anything. Then you should always set up here the account for transfer of year-end result. This is where all accounts then take the result and put the result into this account, and it should be a status account actually up here. It's in the equity, and then but you can also, if you want to do it more specific, you can put it into opening account, so you can actually on each account say that this should actually go into this one and the another should go into this one. So you could divide your result into more accounts, and all the ones which you have not put in this opening account on will go into account for transfer of year-end result. Does everyone get that? Oh, yeah. What is this in Danish duty account? Duties. Are they afgifter? Oh, it's, yeah, got. So if you have something, especially, I think you're all still in the EU, so it's one from Singapore. Then you should use duty accounts. Normally, if you do internally in the EU, you would not have this. But again, if you have duty accounts, then you should use these accounts. There's also something here which I would recommend, but that's the same in all systems, that you will never use any one of these systems accounts actually for manual postings. So I think you should block them in the journal, or block them at all actually. So you do not do any manual postings. Why shouldn't you do that? It's much easier to check if the debts or the customer and the vendors and the inventory actually has the same figures in the subsystems as they do in the finance, if you do not allow any manual postings. And the worst one to do manual postings are actually the auditors. So block everything for the auditors. Good. You have all these, you have these VAT which you should set up. So all the accounts which do, what shall we say, the total VAT you should set up here. Also, what is payable, receivable. You have this exchange rate difference. So if you do any sale in foreign currency, you should have this set up also. You also have this for small difference, and you should also set this up also because you can actually in Uniconta, when you do postings, you can where you have different exchange rates and something you could get any different that could go in here. So you should always have it. The same with VAT roundings, you should set it up. Stock, that's of course only if you have any stock. You don't have to do it. I'm not sure what this is in Danish journal for entry of lost profit. Anyone know what that is? Or can explain it? I'm not sure what it is actually. These two down here is right now only used in Spain actually. So you should not use them in either of your countries. I'm not sure what these two are. Offset taxable import and import VAT. I should see it in Danish to be able. But then you should, this is probably most important one. You should have an error account, because having an error account do that if something is wrong, you have missed to set up, let's say an account of a group. Make me the presenter. Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, you want to be presenter and show something?
Hello, Pim. What? Let's see here. Show all records.
No, it was misunderstanding.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All fine.
Okay, keep going on.
Yeah, good. But one of the most important thing is the error account, because this will collect everything which you have set up incorrect actually. Most important. Currency code is only if you do some postings actually in, if you, for example, have a bank and you want to do this bank in US dollars or euro or pound, British pounds or anything, set it up and then you can do the reconciliation for a bank in that account, which not is a standard for the company. Do anyone know where you set up the standard for the company? You do that down here on the company and the company information. Here, this is a currency for this company. So this is a standard currency. So if you actually at some point change and you don't have all things would then say that this is another here, another code actually, which is standard. This one is, I don't know if you use it in any other countries than Denmark, but when a bookkeeper is doing the posting or the registration of the transactions, instead of typing bank, and in Denmark we have something called Giro or Giro, then they type a G. So you could actually with one letter saying that I want to use this, and then it will automatically fill out the account number if you put it in here. Then you can see here that I have one saying account totals, meaning that I can actually put this the values from this account into one. What is televac? Do you know what that means? Is yeah, some calculation. Let's say you have a calculation called 1, you have one called 10, you have one called 20. Then you can say that you want to put this account's amount into this number 1, for example. You could also, if we have here, I try to put it into to doing a total. Then you will see that now I can put it in the total. I can now print it, or I can put the whole total into. So if I have a group of account which has a total, I can put it in, so I don't need to put it on all accounts. Did you get that? Okay.
Sorry, not really.
No, yeah.
The save in, account total save in, I didn't really get it. What is the meaning of?
You can save this chart or this account's amount into something you want to summarize. So,
and the something I want to summarize, is that the chart of account itself?
Yeah, this is actually cross. If you I just go.
If they have 10 different from different group, you can add a sum.
Yeah. If, for example, I want to just for fun, I could say that I want to summarize that one and that one and that one. Then I could put these 3 into something called over here called, for example, number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Not yet. It's not the subtotal yet. And then you could make down here on this one, for example, saying that now it was only those 3 I wanted to have the sum of, instead of, let's see here, I can just go in the layout and say I want to have the calculation expression here. Oh, there's not much on that one. Let's, for example, I want to have up here, I want to have a calculation of all the balance, for example. This is from 10,000 to, where is it down here? See, where do we have, wow, this is long. Oh, where does this balance? Here. So now I want to do a total for the whole balance, for example. I can do it like this. I go in here and say edit. And then I say I want to have it from number, let's see here, where do I have this? Well, I mean, total, yeah. Then I could say that I want to have from 10,000 to 3,000, yeah, like this, and save. So you see, this is now calculating from top to this line. But the other one, which I showed you, was where if I put it in here, I could do some other kind of calculation where I take one here and then put it into calculations and then show it in another part of the chart of account. I'm not sure what it's called. In Danish, it's tælleværk. It's
so it's some kind of showing some numbers that might be connected together, but in a different way. So you would have, let's say you have some marketing postings, you have some marketing you want to count, but they actually sit different places in the chart of accounts, and you want to do a subtotal of that. But it's not sort of a regular subtotal, but it's a specific informative subtotal. That's probably what you want to do. Yeah.
Okay. So you have to create then one chart of account which is referring to the one. So when you say save in one,
it's like this in the vision, the sum where you said from this you enter the account numbers.
Yeah.
So you can enter 10 account numbers. Here you put it on the account and said, make a sum of all the one or all the two.
Yeah, it is exactly. If, for example, I say I want to, it's the same as doing like this. I want to have 10,000, then I want to have 30,000, then I want to have
Yeah,
6,000.
I see.
So, but now I just do it by putting into number 1, number 2, number 3. So, yeah. So now I just do like this and
Thank you.
profit and loss. Good. Then, of course, we have the VAT down here, and I will go a little further into that. But the important thing here is, of course, that you select the right of the VAT which you have set up. I'll go a little further into it because you can see this one is actually quite heavy, but we have this, and now this is sales, UK VAT sales, and then you can go in here and say on this account that you want to do it as optional. This means that you can delete the VAT code actually. But you can, or you can select any one of the VAT codes on this account. You can also make it mandatory, meaning that you cannot delete the VAT code. It should always have a VAT code. And then there's a fixed one, which is if you always want to have precisely this VAT code on this account. And the second one is no VAT, meaning that you cannot type a VAT code on this one. Good. I can do like this and make it optional. Oh, this one is something in Uniconta which is fixed, meaning I take it under when we come to the VAT, because this is something which should always be set up actually. In Denmark, we don't have to put it into the account here because it's set up default on the VAT. Here you can go in and say if you use this account when you do the posting, you can always automatically select another account, and this could be a ledger, customer, vendor, and so then you can tell here which account should it always select when you post on this particular account. And you can also set up here if you want to have this when you do the posting, that when you select this account, should it automatically place the cursor into either the debit or the credit side. So you can see here that I want to have either if it's debit or credit as a default on this one. Then we have, if you use this for projects also, you can, again, if you do a registration in the journal, you could set up that if you use this, it should always go into this particular project job type actually. And you could say that it's mandatory. We did do something about this opening. You have this blocked in journal, so you cannot do posting. And this is totally blocked, you cannot do anything. And then we have the page breaks, which is when you do the printing, it will automatically do a page break. I'm not sure it's after or before. I think it's after, but I'm not quite sure. This one we actually do not use for anything yet, but it could be for consolidation, for example, or anything. Everywhere where you want to put an additional number. I use it in the dashboard because if I, for example, want to have a total for all profit, then I could on all profit accounts, for example, give it number 10, then I will be able to, in Excel and in the dashboard, to show all number 10 as one's total. So you could use it today for something like this. I'm not sure why we have a date here. And we do not use any standard account yet. This is for something we do later, I think. We have, of course, a department, and we have it in 2. And this is because you can tell on each account if these dimensions are active, not active, or mandatory. And then if you set it as active or mandatory, you could go down here and say that now you should always have this one of these as default. Of course, if you should do this, what to say, on each account, it is a little bit difficult and it takes some time. But again, I don't know if you know it, but if you, for example, did go down here on tools and on data manipulations and then go into the general ledger, budget, where do I have the account? Where do I have a normal account? GL account client, that's me. And then you could go in here and say, I want to have the account and I want to have the department. I'm not sure which one it is, because default offset account. I'll just do like this instead. I'll take them all and say continue. Then you could go in here and say that you want to do all of these active or not active. See, where do I have them? Department here, for example. Let's see, what is this? Then you could, for example, say that they should every one of them should have this administration management, and then you can just go in here and say that you want to take this name, which is department, if I could find it. I can't. No, I'm not sure why I can't find it. I should be able to set it up so I can just give all the same value down here in the data manipulation, but I couldn't show you. Sorry. Good. I think that was something about the chart of account. Yeah, I think we take the VAT as the last item. Oh yeah, I think there was. Let's see here. No more questions. Good. If we go into the VAT, I'll just close all these again. And go down into the VAT here, which is on the general ledger. Here. This is actually, it could be quite difficult to set up all these VAT. And I thought, Ingvald, do it that you had one question. Oh, he's not on the call. Okay.
Icelandic colleague is on the call, but I know Ingvald will send an email with a question around VAT, basically 100% VAT. I actually don't know what that means.
No, it means that you would say that this whole amount should go into VAT. You cannot do that. It's not possible to do 100% VAT. You have to do an additional account, which is then set as a account type for VAT, and then you do a posting directly on that one, and that's why you have to have your own one, and then you just type the 100% VAT amount, and then it will go into the reporting. So this is actually the way you do it. You cannot do 100% VAT without setting up an additional account for that. Good. If we then take this, I go down into the UK here, which is, you see I have the payable and receivable, and they are quite the same. Go in here, you give them a name and a code, and this code is the one which is in chart of account. And now you can see here, and this is really important that you set up this correctly. You take the type, and these can only be those two here, payable and receivable. And there will be one change actually, because when you have this payable, you will be able to type the VAT operation in sale. And this is really not good in English. Sorry, I have to open the Danish one to be able to tell you what is what here. I think we should have translated that one. This is, you cannot use it actually. Just a second, I have to look at it in Danish. Oh, you have, no. No, it doesn't matter. We are on new online system here. We go down into general ledger, into the maintenance, into VAT. And then we could say sales, which here is the same actually, which is this one. It is actually the same as you saw. You see payable VAT S1. If I go in here, I can see the labels in Danish. And this is actually telling sales inland. So this means that this is sale in Denmark. And if you are in the UK, it should be what you sell internally in UK. It should always have this S1. S2 is sale in UK without VAT. And this is sale to other European countries, at least as long as you are in the EU. And this should be, you should always have this on the operation for sale. And this is then, if you sell something, oh, this is actually item sales, inventory sale, and this is, for example, consultancy sales for other EU countries. And this is actually, I don't know if you have this in other countries, but in Denmark we can use something, sales internally in the European community, but we should not actually tell the authorities. It should not be calculated to the authorities. And then we have sales for other countries, meaning outside the EU here. And then if we sell something coming from one EU country to another and further on, then we should use this one. I can see we should translate this. I'll try to look into it, see if we can have this done quite quickly, because it's important. So you can have it in the next release actually. I thought it was okay.
We have it translated. I mean, Eric made it for us. It would help if there would actually be a setup screen where we can make the changes ourselves. Because right now it is, well, somewhere locked behind in the table, I guess. And for everything that needs to be changed, like you have to submit.
This is locked totally. This is locked totally, and it will be locked because this is what Eric actually used to do localization. And this is also why you could see that there were some from Spain also and something. This is because we have sometimes to build in additional ones to be able to do localization. So this is something we should always build into Unicontests, what you said, kernel. So this is just the way it is right now. I don't know if Eric will change it if something comes up, but it's really important. In Spain, actually, you do not fill these out because you should fill it out in the journal in Spain, actually, because then you can have on the same account actually the same or different kind of VAT operation. So there you can actually choose all these doing one registration. Good. I think actually I'll stay a little bit in the Danish here, because you see down here, you can also choose when you do the registration in the journal if you want to do the gross amount or the net amount. I'm not quite sure how the automatic, I never used it. So if you do the gross amount in the journal, you should post or type the amount including VAT. So you can actually on each VAT code set up if you want to do the gross or the net amount, and the net amount is of course without, and then Uniconte will add the VAT, and if it's a gross amount, it will take the VAT out. Of course, it gives the same result, but it's two different ways of typing. Then you have the rate, which is the rate on this one actually up here. You have this payable type, but then this is internally in DK. We have 25%. Then you can change here, say if you want to have an VAT code also on the transaction when you do this. So you get it on, I can recommend that, then it's quite easy always to see what kind of VAT you actually used for this. And of course you could have a lot of payable VAT with a lot of different rates. And then you can say on this one with this rate, it goes in and put this onto all postings. Good. The next one here, rate 2, meaning that you can have two different rates on the same postings, but you should really, what shall we say, take care when you do it, because then you'll get a combination. So you can recommend that you test it. I have one here, which is in Denmark representation. And you see here, this could be, this is only made as 6 point. I have one in my demo account, just a second. This is 6.25, which is then calculated at this, but you could also do it in another way. I go into here, into this one, and I go down into VAT again here, and then we have actually done the same one here. You can see the difference between those two is 6.25, but it's set up like this instead. So you have two, you have the normal rate, and then we have rate 2, and then Uniconte will actually, it makes 4 transactions now, meaning that the difference between those two is now what is reported. So I can recommend that you look a little bit about also this. There is, and I know you cannot read it, but this is shown also how it's done in Unipedia and how all the transactions are actually calculated. Hopefully Unipedia will be translated someday. So, but that's two different ways of doing the same thing. And this is actually the most correct way to do it in DK, because then in DK we have a lot saying what should it have been if we have not allowed something else. So here we should normally have taken 25%, but we have in our legislation said that, oh, we are allowed to, or not to take 25% in what you say out of this amount, but only 6.25. So we actually give 18.75% back. So this is how the authorities often want to have it done in DK. And then you can set up here if it's only for a specific date, and then you can change also set up rate 1 and 2 if it changes. So you can use the same. Then this is really important. You set up the ledger account where it goes in, and also if it normally you will not use this on the offset account, but if you set up the journal, you could set the journal so you can use both. Oh, just a second. Up here on the posting, you could set up here on the setup journal. You can say that you are allowed to have VAT code for both account and offset account. This is what's down here, is set which account do you then want to use as the offset account if you use both ways in the journal. And all of you which is known with AX and with XAL and maybe C5, this is not something you could do in those products. I don't know if you can do it in an NAV. And I'm not sure what this is actually, the VAT boxes. I'm not sure what that is. I think there's something new for we have made a new report, and this will come for all countries. If you do the reporting, you can go in here and say that you want to have, let's say we want to have almost Q4, say search, and then you get this, and then it should, when we are finished, in all countries actually be able to show you what is your local VAT report for the authorities. I think we have it in Norway. Is that correct, Sigurd? And then we have it in DK now, and hopefully we will be able to show it in all countries. Yeah, we have 1 minute left.
So 1 minute left on the call. I can just check in the chat here. There are no more questions. So unless there's some other questions, then we'll just finish the call and I will stop the recording. Yes, go ahead.
I have a small question. In this kind of window where you are staying now, how can I change? If you go to you can also go to payment terms.
Yeah, payment terms is up here. So this is all the payment terms.
And then go to edit.
Yeah, edit mode.
Yeah. And how do I put more fields on this?
More fields? I'm not sure there are more fields. You can see this.
Yes.
Edit.
There is a lot.
No, there's not more fields.
I'll go back. This the days and the internal and a lot of fields in the, but I cannot change them.
I'm not quite sure because this is your only.
I have to enter my percent. It's gone to what is called content of it in English.
Okay, cash discount. The person, but that is you do that on the debtors. If you go down here on the customers and go into the debtors, and then I think we have it here on if I say edit, go down here on the bottom. I think that where is we have the total discount percent here, but I think we also have a cash discount.
I see the total.
Yeah, but I think
you have the payment terms. Well,
yeah, I have the payment terms here, but if you want, I think we have a maybe just a second. I want to see if I have all these. No, because it should be able to give you a cash discount also. This should be built into the system. I think it was.
It is on the table if you go back to payment terms, but I cannot change the field. Or stupid.
Okay, you cannot. Let's see. You say you have it here on the. Where? Just a second. Terms of payment.
There. Yeah. And you see all the fields here.
Yeah.
But not there.
Ah, now I know what you mean. You have this default in ledger account and custom. No, what? No, I don't have anything here. That's the same, isn't it?
Numbers of days.
Number of days, yeah. And here I have the discount.
Put it.
Yeah, good.
Put it
I think we should talk to Eric about that because yeah, you're right. It seems that, but maybe if I do like this and then I'll just see if I just do like this and go in again. Terms of payment. And edit.
And then you do.
Now I have them. Don't I? Edit. No, I don't have any more now, I think. Let's see, how many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And you can also add someone.
Yeah, I go into here and say edit 9. Yeah, I have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And in here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
All the people. I cannot.
That was strange. I think we have to make an error report for Eric because we should be able to see them all. But it should be, if we say just show standard here, it should go back to the original. I close this and then I should be able to see all here. But I can see I don't. We have to make an error report for that.
Do you do that or I?
You can.
Yeah, Per. Yeah, Per, that would be nice if you do that. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I think we'll end the call now, and I will also stop the recording.